Two strangers, no clothes, no food, no water.
Go sit down, it's all right.
Manu!
And somehow, a full TV crew standing 5 feet away with a craft services table, a medic on standby, and a producer whispering your scripted backstory into your earpiece. Welcome to Naked and Afraid. The show Discovery Channel called the Everest of Survival Challenges, the show that convinced 4 million people a week that two adults arguing over a fire starter in a pixelated swamp.
I don't really care what's attached, it doesn't matter.
This is survival. There's nothing sexual about this.
Was edge-of-your-seat television. And the show that, according to its own contestants, was a lot less wild and a lot more carefully produced drama with better mosquitoes. Since its premiere in 2013, Naked and Afraid has run for 19 seasons. It spawned spin-offs that sound like rejected video game titles: XL, Alone, Last One Standing, Apocalypse, and it went from Discovery's biggest cable hit to a show pulling under 900,000 viewers that nobody talks about anymore. So what happened? How does a show with 4 million fans collapse into a footnote?
For their experience.
What's up?
Hello, you're beautiful.
Simple. The contestants started talking. It's 2013. Reality TV is eating itself alive. Survivor's been running for over a decade. Bear Grylls is famous for drinking his own urine on camera, and every network executive is desperately searching for the next format nobody's thought of yet. Discovery's answer? Same concept. Remove the clothes.
Really a deer. So this is a boar track. The boar probably knows our patterns better than we do.
Genius, or at least cable TV genius, which is its own special category. The format was brutally simple. Drop two strangers into a remote location. No food, no water, no clothes. One survival item each. 21 days to reach the extraction point. No cash prize, no elimination rounds, just pride.
But, we're running out of daylight. We need the fire to make this water drinkable.
And the joy of having your body pixelated for the entertainment of millions. It worked immediately. The series premiere drew 4.16 million viewers, the second biggest series launch in Discovery's history, behind only Amish Mafia. It became the #1 cable show among men on Sunday nights. Discovery was ecstatic. They had their golden goose, and it didn't even need pants. Within 2 years, they launched XL, 40 days, bigger groups, then Alone, then Last One Standing.
I can't say that I've ever been more weirded out to be naked right now.
Then Apocalypse. Discovery milked this format like a contestant desperately milking a coconut on day 18 with shaking hands and nothing left in the tank. But here's the thing about building a show entirely on the promise of this is real. You better make sure it actually is.
The skills all at once at first, and I was like, the #1 thing we gotta do is a shelter.
They didn't. The show had been on air for less than a year when the first story broke. The Daily Mail reported that a female contestant from the very first season had been secretly fed bread, rice, and baby food by the production crew, and hooked up to 2 separate IV drips after falling ill on set. None of it was mentioned in the episode. Discovery said nothing.
Weeks aren't out and about because literally I have no idea where I'm stepping right now. I can't see it.
They hoped the news cycle would move on. It didn't. Season 3 contestant Phaedra Brothers, according to her own account in Channel Guide magazine, got severe food poisoning the night before filming from a chicken curry prepared by a crew member. She started the challenge already sick, but when her episode aired, Discovery ran a completely different storyline. She drank dirty water and got herself ill. A narrative that, according to Phaedra, was completely fabricated by production. When she posted comments correcting the record on Discovery's own website, they deleted them. When she pushed back further, she claims she was told directly, say anything outside the chosen storyline and there would be consequences.
It's wet and muddy everywhere.
Whoa, you're covered in leeches.
A leech?
Think about that for a second. A woman gets food poisoning from a crew member's cooking, goes on national television sick, gets blamed for her own illness on air, then gets silenced when she tries to tell the truth. That's not reality television. That's a reputation hit with a production budget.
Like Bo, I'm concerned that he's this alpha male personality and he's not gonna listen to me.
And then came Honora Bowen. Season 3, and arguably the most damaging voice the show ever had to deal with. According to Honora's blog, producers gave her a magnifying glass as her survival item on day 1, then instructed her repeatedly to tell viewers on camera it had belonged to her late father. Her father had recently passed away before filming. Production knew this, and they used it as a scripted emotional hook anyway. asking her to perform grief on demand for ratings. She described it as one of the most uncomfortable things she'd ever been asked to do. Her father had actually owned a magnifying glass, but the one in her hands was bought by a production assistant from a store in town. That detail, of course, never made the episode.
Ants. And these ants are like, they just came out of nowhere. And they bite, trust me, they freaking bite.
Meanwhile, the remote wilderness location, also a fiction, according to Honora. A DJ was throwing a block party close enough that she could hear it every night. The music never stopped before 4 a.m. There was a town a few miles away. Locals wandered through the filming area. One of cable TV's toughest survival challenges was apparently taking place within walking distance of someone requesting Usher remixes.
Have ideas, because I do.
Yeah, no, it's cool. It's totally cool.
Okay.
Executive producer Denise Contis told the Wall Street Journal around this time, "There is no manipulation, no element of scripted reality." Incredible, truly.
And all over my face, apparently, as well.
Here's where it gets serious. Season 10 contestant Blair Braverman wrote a detailed account for Outside Magazine about her experience. According to her, the entire first day of filming was essentially choreographed. She took her clothes off twice so the crew could capture different angles. They followed a scripted sequence of events for how the opening would unfold. And the night before filming started, a naturalist gave her a private hour-long briefing on the local wildlife. Extreme survival, opening with a one-on-one consultation. The production camp, multiple contestants confirmed, was always within walking distance of wherever filming was happening.
No faith, just always complaining.
One of my biggest pet peeves is laziness.
Contestants were given emergency radios. Crew members provided tampons, supplements, salt, chocolate, vitamin C packets. When cameras weren't rolling, people were looked after. The completely alone in the wilderness setup was, according to those who lived it, more of a loose suggestion. And then there's the food, which the internet figured out on its own. Reddit threads documented a pattern that was hard to ignore. Every time a contestant was on the verge of starvation and the episode needed a dramatic turn, an animal would appear. Conveniently. One example involved a deer in a snare with zero physical evidence of ever having been trapped. No marks, no struggle, just a deer helpfully present right on cue. So by this point you have fabricated illness storylines, scripted backstories, staged fights, planted food, locations next to civilization, a crew that's always nearby. With snacks and a narrative already written. And still, Discovery's official position was nothing to see here. Which brings us to Les Stroud, not just any critic. Not a disgruntled contestant or a Reddit thread. Les Stroud, Survivor man. The man who spent years actually surviving alone in real wilderness, filming everything himself, with no crew, no safety net, and no production team deciding how the story should end. The guy who built his entire career on doing the authentic version of what shows like Naked and Afraid were pretending to do. When Stroud speaks about survival television, people in the industry listen. Because unlike almost everyone else in this conversation, he invented the genre. He has nothing to prove and nothing to sell. He's not a bitter ex-contestant. He's the standard against which everything else gets measured. In a 2015 interview with Vice,
Good with that bow drill, huh?
I've never quite done it under pressure like this situation, but
Stroud described survival shows like Naked and Afraid as produced, staged, faked, scripted, set up, and done in a way so that they can produce numerous episodes, some of which do it horribly and blatantly. Then on social media, when fans pushed him to be more specific about Naked and Afraid, he dropped any remaining diplomatic language. His response was direct, absolutely not, completely staged in every way. This I know for a fact. No qualifiers, no allegedly, no in my opinion, just staged. As a fact, from the man who literally created the genre that Naked and Afraid was built on. When the person who invented the blueprint calls your building fake, you don't get to keep selling tickets. Here's what nobody talks about when a show loses its audience. It's not the ratings that die first. It's the trust. People didn't stop watching Naked and Afraid because they got bored of the format. They stopped watching because they stopped believing.
You want to lean to that?
sounds good.
All right.
Everything in this valley feels super wet.
And once that happens, once you know the illness was faked, the backstory was scripted, and the crew is always 10 minutes away with a snack bag, you can't watch the same way anymore. Every tearful confessional becomes a performance. Every miraculous food catch becomes suspicious. Every dramatic moment becomes a question. The numbers reflect exactly that. Season 1, over 4 million viewers per episode. Today, under 900,000. That's nearly an 80% drop. Discovery's response was to escalate, 40 days, bigger groups, harsher locations, apocalypse themes. But escalating a show that audiences no longer trust doesn't create tension. It just creates more content nobody's fully invested in. There's also the payment issue, which cuts right to the heart of the show's core promise. Naked and Afraid publicly tells contestants their only reward is pride. No cash prize, just the accomplishment. In reality, according to Discovery's own official casting rules, participants receive around $5,000 plus flights and a hotel stay.
Bear, snake, elk, moose. Looks like this is about where we are.
$5,000 to spend 3 weeks naked in a jungle while production fabricates your storyline, deletes your online comments, and asks you to perform grief over a dead parent, on camera, for a ratings hook. That's not just a bad deal. That's a deeply strange deal. The format itself was never the problem. 2 people, no clothes, no safety net, 21 days. That's inherently compelling. Real hunger, real exhaustion, real weather. You don't need to script anything. Nature is already dramatic. The producers just didn't trust it enough to let it be. And now they're paying for it, season by season, viewer by viewer. In 2013, Naked and Afraid had something rare, a format with genuine potential. No prize money, no competitions, no gimmicks, just 2 people against nature. And for one bright moment, it felt like that's exactly what you were watching.
I didn't anticipate pain.
Really? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Then came the scripted magnifying glass, the fabricated illness, the DJ playing until 4 a.m. in the remote jungle. The crew that was never more than 10 minutes away, always nearby, always watching, always ready with the next plot line and a bag of vitamin C packets. Here's what makes it genuinely frustrating. They didn't need to do any of it. Real hunger is already television. Real exhaustion is already dramatic. 2 people who hate each other after 12 days without food. That writes itself. Nature is brutal, unpredictable, and relentlessly compelling on its own. Discovery just didn't trust it enough to let it breathe. And that one decision, to manufacture drama instead of capture it,
I had sweated out all of the essential minerals, electrolytes, and had to take me out,
is what unraveled everything. Because audiences aren't stupid. They notice, slowly at first, then all at once. 4 million viewers became 2 million. 2 million became under 1 million. 19 seasons in, and the golden goose didn't die dramatically. It just stopped laying eggs. The contestants kept talking. They still are. Blog posts, magazine interviews, social media threads. There's an entire parallel archive of what actually happened on this show, running alongside the official Discovery version. 2 different stories. One involves survival, the other involves a production team, a scripted narrative, and a crew member's chicken curry. Naked and Afraid told its contestants the only reward was pride. No cash, no prize, just the knowledge that you survived. Fitting. Because that's exactly what the audience got too.
High speeds and have razor-sharp teeth. Hippos actually kill over 20 times more people than lions.
The jungle was never the real challenge. Getting people to keep believing you, that was always the game. And in the end, Discovery was the one who tapped out. If you made it this far, you already know Discovery wasn't the only one running a con. Reality TV is full of shows that sold you a story and hoped you wouldn't ask questions. We asked the questions. If that's your thing, hit subscribe, new video dropping soon, and trust us, the next one is just as bad.